If hustling harder, we were in this whole hustle culture for the longest time. If you're a woman and hustling harder is not working for you, then possibly you may be pushing too hard and it's not working. And it may be time to try the opposite. I'm Alicia Soikawa, the Empowered Woman. Today we're going to talk about the importance of the feminine energy, the feminine versus the masculine, looking at different energies and specifically looking at it for business success and in just manifestation or growing what you want in life. Because a lot of times we're doing the opposite thing that's going to get us what we want we say we want. So that's the topic for today. So tune in and get ready because it's going to be a great session for you to think about putting your mindset shift, especially if you're an achiever woman, out of that masculine energy into your feminine and see if we can attract some of that beautiful energy away. So one of the things I want to talk about is masculine versus feminine. So you think about dark and light, sun and moon, positive, negative. There's something called polarity. And this is one of the great things that I was able to learn about in detail in relationships when I went to the relationship trip with my husband in 2023. And that was my first exposure to the concept of feminine and masculine. I knew about it, but I think it wasn't intentional. I looked at being feminine as like the feminist movement, or in a way being weak. I know that sounds crazy, but I think when you are, I was the first child, the oldest in my family, and being a woman, I always wanted to prove that I could do it. I can do it just as good as a man can do it. I'm strong. I got this. Hear me roar. And I'm not diminishing any of that for anybody. If that's what you want, that's great. But I think it goes against us as women in general to push so hard constantly and drive like that. That's a very masculine energy. And the whole concept is that it doesn't have to be like that 100% of the time. I think that men also have masculine and feminine energy, just like women have masculine and feminine energy. They kind of balance each other, just like yin and yang. Like I said, all the different polarities. There are pieces of you that are more masculine. Women have testosterone in their bodies, just as we do estrogen. And it is a balance of both that makes us who we are. When we're overbalanced or over swinging the pendulum to too much masculine, that's where I think for women in particular, I'm speaking to so many women every day, you have adrenal fatigue, you have high cortisol levels, you're stressed, you have burnout, you're just like, you're just tired. You're tired of carrying the weight of the responsibility for the family. This is what I'm talking about. So there's things to think about in your place of how can you get to a place where there's balance. And so it's reintroducing the feminine to balance out that masculine for you. So I have a question. Why do you think both energies are necessary? It's kind of rhetorical, right? It's kind of like if you have too much light and you don't have enough dark, you'll burn, right? You need to have shade. I think that's probably why it's important to look at the different pieces of energies and how they form in life. If you look at nature, it's a great way to mimic what's going on in real life. Just like we've introduced so much artificial light into our lives, artificial foods, there are so many things that we are manipulating to make days longer, to do all the things we want to do, and we're wondering why we're so tired and exhausted. So if you think about that, it's the concept of structure versus surrender. So structure, everything has to be this way, push through deadlines, getting the achievement, getting the awards versus like allowing, doing the work and allowing, stepping back and allowing things to come to you. And I fall guilty of this, and meaning sometimes I just go. And then there are days that I'm like, why do I feel so tired? And I remember, wow, when I look back at the week, I didn't surrender anything. I kind of just was pushing, trying to take on so much and go. And that driving force kind of pushes everything out of the way. And yes, I can go through and lead and get to the end, but I think at a cost. And that's the question. Are you having to pay the price of the masculine energy and not really getting the life you want? So one of the things to think about is the feminine path to receiving that goes along with the lines of surrender. Are you surrendering? And that's something to think about in your life journal. Maybe where do you need to surrender more? That's a call to action for you. And where can you step back from having so much structure all the time? And I think about feminine energies being more fluid. Think about women's cycles, the moon, the tide coming in and out. It's a very feminine energy, right? So for yourself, think about where do you need to let go and just relax a little bit and maybe allow things to happen in your life. And when you're thinking about that, what do you think blocks you from receiving? I think a couple of videos back, a while back, I talked about the receiving karma. This kind of goes in line with that. And, there's a concept that you can block your gifts to you because you're trying to control. And part of the gifts are understanding how to receive and how to get the support you need, how to accept money, accept love, accept things in your life instead of always putting up a block and a challenge for something to be done. And, I think our men, if you're in a male-female relationship or a masculine, feminine, same-sex relationship, a lot of times your partner wants to suggest solutions that only make you more angry. And I'm sure some of you understand they want to fix everything, but you just want to want someone to listen to you. And along the lines of that, you need to understand, like, when they do listen to you, and offer you support, you need to accept. And you have to think about when you can follow your intuition, and following your intuition comes from being quiet, from being still, from not going and pushing. Intuition shows up. It's kind of like that gut feeling that this is the way to go. Kind of like when you're going in a path, something's pulling you some way, right? There's always a yes, I should go that way. And there's always a no for some reason. And I feel that present in my life as well. And it's important to stay still until you hear that intuition, to accept the softness around you, and also to let your personal charisma, magnetism, gravitas, I've seen that used in a lot of corporate speak, but in the sense of allowing that personality to attract the right people to work with you instead of forcing and having the shell of this hardened, like my husband calls it crazy eyes woman. And if you're that way, I'm sorry, but you know what I'm talking about. So thinking about what does the embodiment look like? So if you're looking at your identity, think about if you were to be more feminine, if you're unlocking that feminine energy, what does that mean for you? For me, unlocking feminine energy means not leading everything, not being in charge of all the things, not having to set up everything, orchestrate all of the things, telling everyone where they need to be, following all the schedules and keeping track of everybody, managing everything. To me, that's a very masculine energy. So for me, I need to be able to create, I need to feel soft, I need to feel feminine, I need to feel at peace. Some of it's just having space to meditate, having space to read and work out and do the things for myself so that I can give to other people. And yes, I have structure, I coach on certain hours and I have clients and I have meetings, but I think because I give myself that space here to be that feminine soft place, it translates then to me being able to be more structured and masculine, hence the balance. So question is that, where is that going on in your life? And comment below where that is or it isn't, because I think that's where a lot of women struggle. And how do you balance that? And that I'm a live human walking version of this going on in my life today. And I think when you think about that too, like how can we implement this daily? It's about practicing the feminine energy daily and not just assuming, oh, I did it once, I'm done. It's like anything else, it's a skill. Anything to do with practice, like meditation, working out, even I say playing the piano, artists, all those people, they practice. It's not something that you just automatically know how to do. It is something that just takes time to build, and understanding what that means to you could be different from the person down the street. So everybody's in their own path of getting into that place. But as a woman in particular, or a person that identifies in the feminine, this is something we need to work on, especially if you're a working woman, if you manage and run a lot of people in businesses, and you're struggling with having that polarity in your marriage. Like, have you lost sexual attraction to your husband because you're making all the decisions, you're the red one, or you're doing all the things, and your husband also doesn't want to fight you? So sometimes you think about they're wearing their feminine mask because they don't want to fight. They don't want to have that masculine energy, so they back down. And in turn, that translates to us as they're weak, they're not doing their part, I just want them to make decisions and lead, etc., etc. I see it all the time. People make comments about that on social media. And so I wanted to bring that up as a conversation because I think it starts with us. They say you may change within yourself and everything around you changes, right? So think about what are the changes you can make in your life. Do you love to dance? Dancing is a fun way to step into your feminine for sure. Like, I think dancing to your favorite music, or being playful, or singing, and having that private space to let loose and have all those things. I have to tell you, I love when we used to do like a jazzercise Rumba classes because it was like so fun, you know? It's a great way to express yourself as a woman and listen to music and have fun. Or dance nights, and when we were younger with girlfriends, was the best nights ever, is going to the nightclub and dancing. I'm gonna be 50 this year. I'm not doing that because I'm in bed. But I think I remember the day dancing and releasing and having that feminine energy was such a great time. Silence, like I said, for me, meditation has been a huge piece of just kind of listening to myself and what my needs are. Rituals for me, it's like having a cup of tea at night, doing my skincare routine, like just getting my nails done. I know it's a kind of a chore for some people, getting my hair done, just taking care of myself so I can present myself in the right way. I think too, like honestly, women that love to shop and wear clothes and look pretty, that's an expression of your feminine nature. It's something important to understand. If that's who you are and that's how you express yourself, there's no need to justify that or feel bad about that. That's just who you are. I have a great friend named Luz. She's a fabulous dresser. She's a impeccable taste. And I think that's just one of the ways she expresses her femininity. For perfume, like the perfume you wear, you could be it. If you wear makeup or you don't wear makeup, that's that's your decision on how are you feminine? How do you take care of yourself, right? And I think that's different because what feminine energy means to you is different than what it can mean to me and then someone else and someone else. But you need to identify what does that mean to you so you can understand how to tap into it and use it to your benefit to counteract that drive that we have that's masculine, you know, that getting the things done. And those are real life examples that I want you to think about implementing into your life and see if that helps you attract and become more magnetic. Because honestly, like when you're out in public and you see a super, it's just like there's something that's soft and beautiful about a woman that you can never, like that's just part of being a woman. And I don't understand it. I was talking to my husband about that, and it's very beautiful and attractive. And sometimes in business, it's not about using your sexuality to get to business. It's about you don't have to argue with someone. You can just be in your feminine and allow the decisions and, you know, come to the table and say, let's have a solution here. We're not here to push something through. Let's work together to get to the end. I would say that's more of a feminine energy than like, you're going to do what I want and we're getting this done. That is more masculine energy. So I want to know, where do you think that could be beneficial in your life as a call to action? If you're in business, if you work with a lot of men, or you're trying to figure out how to get into your feminine, you're struggling with that. Some of those things could be some practices for you, but I'm curious if you could share your feminine energy below, what you think feminine energy means to you. I'm curious, and how it works for her. Where do you think you're struggling with? And also would love a like and a subscribe if this is interesting to you. And until next time, stay empowered, and I'll talk to you soon.